and ribs at a tasty price. And by Pepsi, Canada's beverage.
Bruce, we've had 3 excellent weeks of bowling, some tremendous scores, and this week looks like it's going to be equally as strong as the previous weeks.
I don't know if the nerves are going to stand in too many more weeks of this or not, Cliff. It's been really exciting. We've had double strikes all over the place, 5 marks in a row. So far, 3 matches in the 270s. That's for 2 games. Real good bowling, yeah, and it's been really a lot of fun.
Just last week alone, we gave away more bonus money than we did all last year. So that's the caliber of bowling that we've had so far this year. It's just been tremendous. Our bowlers have qualified higher this year. I want to remind you that this comes to you every week. And without any further ado, Bruce, I'm going to get you to, again, for the viewers, call off the bowlers that we have here this week. And then we'll get started.
This week's 4 bowlers. Leading off will be Terry Spinney, Craig Landry, then Barry Peterson, and Reg Fowler. And we're looking at 4 guys that are quite capable of sending up some good scores. So let's all have a look and see what they can do. Okay, Terry, let's start her off.
Okay, and our first bowler this week, Terry Spinney, lives here in Yarmouth. He's 38 years old. He's the assistant manager at the Yarmouth Golf and Country Club. He's been bowling for 26 years. He bowls in 2 leagues, and 1 league he's a spare in it. His current average this year is 122. His career high single is 173. And right off the bat, Bruce.
Starts off, he got down to the right on his first ball and went right back and had a 7-pin spare.
So his current average is 122. His career high singles 173 and career high triples 427.
And throws a hard ball, kind of an in-shoot, gets a lot of action on it, a lot of body action. His head's moving, his arms are moving, and but gets the action where it counts, and that's down on the plate. So he had 6 on his spare.
Over the years, Terry has had 12 400s to his credit.
And starts off with 23 on his first 2 boxes.
His triple for qualifying for this tournament was 382 for this year for Terry. So our next bowler is Craig Landry. Craig lives here in Yarmouth. He's 33 years old. He's a sales rep for TriStar Industries and has been bowling for 20 years.
Rolls a very smooth ball, a nice ball. He's going to start off with a strike. So he's not going to let Terry get ahead of him.
No, not at all.
But I've bowled on a team with Craig a few years ago. He's developed into a very good bowler, has a very deliberate approach to the line, and has a nice smooth ball, and is a good accurate bowler.
And likes to bowl under pressure. He seems to thrive on the pressure. The stronger you put it onto him, the harder he bowls.
I said that he bowls anchor. That's one asset that an anchor man needs. He needs to be good under pressure and be able to get the big mark when you need it. And Craig seems to do that from time to time with his team. And as I said, he just rolls a nice ball.
Yes, certainly does. Craig currently has 120 average. He has a career high single of 186 and a career high triple of 421.
Started off with his strike, as we said, and he has a good 8-pin break there. He has the 1-3 left. Just has to get on that head pin. And has a 19 on his first box.
Craig rolled 3 games to qualify for this tournament with a 358.
And takes a 10 for 29.
Our next bowler, Barry Peterson, lives in Chabot Point. He's 45 years old. He's a service manager at Stars Road, Irving. He's been bowling for 11 years. He currently bowls in 1 league, has a current average of 116.5.
Throws a fairly hard ball. Well, his average tells you what kind of a bowler he is. He's a good bowler. I think he likes the competition.
Yeah, he seems real determined when he's bowling.
He puts a lot into his game. He shows his emotion out there. I don't mean angry, just that he's putting a lot of emotion into the game, and he's trying hard, even though you might, and who doesn't, have a 6-box once in a while.
Yeah, that's right.
He works hard at his game.
And
up
again, Barry's one of the newcomers to this type of bowling. He has never done this thing before. So the lights, the cameras, and the whole crowd just totally standing and watching you. You know that's what they're doing. So that makes him a little harder.
It's a little different than team bowling.
That's for sure.
Because there's a lot of guys out there. You're out there all by yourself.
Cut that a little thin, but Barry has a career high single of 170 and a career high triple of 410. The 3-game total for the qualifying for this tournament was 390. He's had 4 400s over his career.
So he has a 6 and a 9 to start, and that'll only get better.
That's for sure.
There's Big Reg Fowler.
Reg lives on Chestnut Street here in Yarmouth. He's 32 years old. He's a laborer with Yarmouth Sea Products. Bowls Monday night men's league in the Gateway and Friday night men's league here at Brunswick Lanes. Currently has an average of 116.
Good hard ball, accurate, smooth. Oh, he called him on that one. So we'll leave it to the scorer to decide how many pins he lost. I think he lost 3, but I'm not sure.
Gets a
So
6
he got a
out of
6,
that.
yeah. He
Yep.
lost 3 on that, and he left 1 standing. He might tend to get the ball out of ways because he throws so hard. But he's a hard thrower. I watched Reg qualify for this, and he had a 407, and he was throwing in the pocket. Man, he was pounding pins.
And that we remind the viewers that that 407 was from 3 games.
Yes, yeah. And he picks up a spare, so after 1 bad ball, he comes back and picks himself up a spare. So that shows and that's a good sign that a fella can come back.
Reg has a high career single of 152 and a high career triple of 407. So very consistent.
We're looking again at Terry Spinney, who had 23 after his first 2 boxes.
Oh,
yes.
nice spare.
Yeah, he split those 3 and just took a little extra second for the pin to flip over to the right-hand corner to make his spare for him. So he's 33 on 3 and open. 1 ball working. And right back in the pocket again for a 7. And that gives him 40. And a good shot. And that could be his side of the alley. He throws a ball that breaks left to right. Ooh, okay.
Got the working off of that pin, so.
Got on the outside of that one, but the wood spun around and went right back. And that's okay. He's on the front pin. That's the main thing. If you didn't hit the front pin, you weren't going to get the spare. Craig Landry started with a strike and a 10.
Craig back on that head pin again. Hit it a little heavy that time.
He's got those 3, 6, 10, but he's got that 4 pin on the side that's going to be the hard one to get. And it's a good 9. He's 38 on 3. He's one of these bowlers that stands with his right foot forward first. As a right-hand bowler, that's not saying it's unorthodox, but it's a little different. A lot of us right-hand bowlers stood with our left foot forward, and it means, I haven't watched that close, but I think it's a one little extra step. Although he may, I'm going to watch it, but he may hold his right foot still and bring the left foot up. But he may be a 4-step bowler. We'll just look and see. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just the first step is a very small one,
Yeah.
just a half step like, and then the 3 long strides. And I think Randy Scoville was that way also, just a very small step and then the 3.
Yeah, I noticed that Tony White, when he's bowling, he stands with both feet side by side.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
just again, it's what you get comfortable with and how you start.
Whatever you're comfortable with.
Yeah.
The heck with what it looks like.
That's right.
Barry Peterson, 6 and a 9. Barry starts getting that ball in the pocket, you'll see some action because his ball does work pretty good down there.
There was an indication right there of it. Those pins coming off of the side and just moving around.
And a 9 for 24. There, he's on the head pin. And he leaves himself to 3-6. And for those of you who are just tuning in, if you're wondering what we meant by the 3-6, those are the numbers of the pins as they sit on the plate down there. The closest pin to is the number 1 or the head pin. And then directly behind it, there's 2 pins, and left to right, there are 2 and 3. Behind them, there's 3 more. There's 4, 5, and 6. And the back row has 4 pins in it, starting with the left-hand corner, which is number 7, across to 8, 9, and the right-hand corner is 10. So those are the numbers that we'll be calling out as we go from week to week. There's Reggie with a good ball in there and 6 on his spare.
Reggie's another one of these bowlers that has a real long, exaggerated back swing, and the ball just rifles down the alley.
And normally he's pretty smooth. I mean, you bounce one once in a while, sure. And an 8 for 30. So Reg is par after 3. There was a lot of good-natured kidding up back there before this week started. Some of the boys were going at it pretty good up there.
Yeah,
having fun.
It's nice to see, you know, that even though there's money involved in the game and there's a lot of pressure, that they still can stand around and joke and
I don't think they're here for the money, really.
No, they're here to have fun
and try to win. Sure, that's what you're here for. You want to win, but I don't think the money. And maybe when you get to the last match and you got Skins game and you got some real good money going. But this is and Reg has a 9 and he's 39. So after 4, Terry Spinney is 50 and open with a mark. Craig Landry 47, Barry Peterson 33, and Reg Fowler 39. So Terry, who's bowling now, is the only one to put any marks together. He's had 3 in his first 4 boxes. Oh, goes through the middle and takes 3 out of there.
Out of our 4 bowlers this week, too, Terry is the only one that competed last year.
Yes, I guess he is, isn't he?
Yeah. So I'm sure that there's a little bit of camera shyness up there and jitters because of the lights and cameras, but I'm sure the other 3 guys will settle down and start bowling and show us what they're capable of.
There's a good 9 come out of that. So Terry 62 on 5.
Again, like to remind the bowlers, you know, if they're out around and they're near the Red Knight or out the subway, you know, drop in and tell them that you've watched the bowling on TV, that you've seen it, whether you enjoy it or not. Any comments, you know, drop them off here at Brunswick Lanes or at Cable 5. We'll do our best to accommodate you, or if you have any questions, we'll really work hard at answering them.
And Terry just finished his 6 box with another spare, so he's had four spares and 6 boxes, so he's off to a good start.
Yes, he's got a nice game started there right now.
And Craig Landry had a strike and a couple of 9s and a 10. There's the 4 in a row. You have those when things aren't going bad. You take out 3. If you have 4 in a row and 1 in back, you take the 4 in a row out and leave the 1 in back. So well, let's see what Craig can do with this shot.
Got good action coming off the side.
Carried on down through.
Took out that number 7.
That's the hard one of those 4 to go. You get into the split
and you know, when you're bowling or watching it, you think, well, if you hit them front ones, they all got to go, but it doesn't necessarily work that way.
Not all the time. So Craig is 7 over par and got a ball working here for him. Okay, you get down off the side. You get down off that 2-pin or the 3-pin, and in his case, the 3-pin. You can get some good breaks down there. You're not going to get your strikes down there consistently, but you get some good breaks down there.
And again, you know, you get that little bit of luck and that deadwood working for you. I've seen strikes come out of it.
Oh, it can happen, sure.
Yeah.
But consistently, no.
No, that's true. Oh, just a little thin. Again, we have good crowd here this week, Bruce.
Yeah.
Week 4 of our championship.
And a 10, and that gives Craig 74 on 6. Now Barry hasn't had anything going for him the first 4. He's got 33, so he's due to get a big ball in there and get a break. All right, let's see what he can do with a 4 in a row now. I think the tendency, somebody who bowls a hook or a cross alley ball like Barry does, a hook, it's harder for that 4 in a row to go because he doesn't carry that last pin. Now Craig bowls a little in shoot.
Yes.
Okay, his worked good on it then that time, yeah. But I've seen a lot of times somebody who bowls a curve ball or a hook, it'll leave that 7 pin. Whereas somebody with an in shoot, the ball is going into it and the power is taking the bottom out and they're going right down the line. But Barry cleaned that one. That was a good spare.
With that hook like that ball will come off that side and always seem to go out around that number 7 pin.
And unfortunately for Barry, he went through the middle, got 4 on his spare. Setting her up for 10.
Yeah, exactly. He says that's the only way he could play it.
Yeah.
And he tried.
And a 7, which gives Barry 54 on 6. Big Reggie Fowler. We were teased him when he was qualifying, told we didn't think we would get him on television because we didn't have a wide angle lens. He's a big boy.
I don't know what Reggie's height is, but it must be getting close to 6'6".
Yeah, he's a big man. I like the way he throws the ball. It doesn't look hard, but he's putting a lot behind it.
Yes.
But he's got a lot to put behind it. And 8 for 47.
And he's always laughing. He's always joking.
Seems to be a very good-natured man.
Yes, certainly
Yeah.
is. And he
Lot of
loves to tease the rest of the bowlers. I heard him back there this morning. Him and Greg McGray were there, and we kind of teasing Greg because Greg had qualified a little higher for this tournament than what he
right.
had.
Yeah, and Richie had a 407, didn't he?
Yes.
Whoop.
Oh,
So there you go. 3 in a row. You take out the front one and the back one, and leave the one that's in the middle. How can you do that?
yeah.
We just showed you how. And a 9 for 56. After 6, Terry Spinney 72 with a ball working on his pair. Craig Landry 74, Barry Peterson 54, and Reg Fowler 56.
I think Reg is getting to the point where he's going to start talking to himself a little bit there.
Terry's been in that on that head pin.
Terry's been right in the groove here today. He's hitting them. Last year he had trouble.
Now 20 over par. He's got a good shot there on the front pin. He's all set. Right on
he's got it.
Yeah.
Last year he chipped and picked away at him, and he was quite frustrated with his bowling last year. But today he seems to be
sharp right now.
Yeah.
And I do the statistics for all the leagues, and I see some of these scores and the averages, and Terry seems to be more consistent, bowling better this year than he did, say, previous years. I don't know whether he slowed down a little bit or what happened, but his bowling has improved, in my opinion. 9 on a spare, 99 on 7.
I haven't watched him bowl a lot this year, but I know today he's sure demonstrating a lot of control on that ball.
He might have took that one a little little easy. I'm sure he didn't want to go down there.
I think he eased up a little bit on his delivery.
I think he did. Yeah.
And that can have a tendency to
Anyway,
throw you off. That's
we got
for sure.
3 marks in a row there, so Terry is into the bonus money.
Ah, so
write him in the records. Craig Landry. Seen a fair amount of that this week, chopping through the middle.
So out of 8 alleys so far, Terry's had 6 marks.
Yep.
So very consistent.
We look down there at the pins, and all we ever see is 10 pins standing there. But just for information, there's 26 pins on each lane down there. It means that as the pins are being swept back into the pit, there's already a new set in the head and another 10 ready to drop down into the head when it comes back up again. So there's no delay in having the pin setters work. There's 26 pins down there.
Interesting. I didn't realize that. I knew there was extra pins, but I never knew how many.
That's one of my finer points I had written down here.
For my information, right?
If you'd have been listening last year, I said that last year too, but you weren't listening to me.
You must have caught me during one of my little naps. That number 5 pin right in the middle of the alley, that always seems like such a lonely pin down there.
And
but it didn't
no
seem to
problem
bother
with Craig.
No.
It should be next to the head pin, one of the easiest ones to pick off. It's right in the middle.
Yeah.
But again, it doesn't always work that way. So Terry and Craig both open up in the 8th. Going home, as we say. Barry Peterson struggling a little bit, has 1 spare. There, he had a good ball in there and
got into that pocket nice that time.
Thought he should have had a strike and probably should have, but now he's got to pick off the 5 pin. Right on it.
Right on it. So, that's the 2nd mark for Barry. Maybe he's starting to get locked onto these things by now.
Well, you go out there and you pick a nice pair or you pick off a single, and it all helps you. Makes you feel better.
And another big 9-pin break.
And a good wood, too. 73 on 7. He doesn't want to go way over to the left on that, but he should be all right. Yeah, okay. All I'll say is he didn't go way over the left.
Yeah,
He just
yeah.
went left.
That was a nice one by Barry, and it's got to be a real confidence
help,
booster
yeah.
for him.
Yeah. So now we got 3 bowlers open up in the 8th.
I think Reg's slowing himself down
Well,
a little bit now. He's waiting for that dead
That
wood.
wood's moving, yeah.
Give him a chance to.
Yes.
There he goes.
Yes.
There he goes.
Marks are starting to come now.
The crowd teased him a little bit, hollering about time, and
In the last 7 boxes, we've had 6 spares.
yeah, so getting there.
Oh. That means nothing on his spare. He resets on the first ball only, has 2 balls left to bowl. Now he could still get a spare, but he only gets 10 on that spare. 10 for the mark, and nothing on the spare because the whistle blew on him. So the ball had to be out over the line for Gerald to blow the whistle. That's a shame.
Yeah, that's it, and not only that, it's a psychological thing, because from then on you have a tendency to pull up a little bit.
Yeah, you let up a little, maybe.
Yeah.
Drop your speed some or whatever.
So it definitely has to be a.
And
a
as you
thing
said,
where
I think a few weeks ago too, it doesn't get called in our leagues. And well, now Terry's got 4 in a row.
There's one of those strikes that I say when you get down into the between the pocket of the 3 and 6 or the 2 and the 4, and you get a strike out of it. There was an example.
That's an excuse me strike. But he is pounding that head pin.
Yes.
And he could have had a strike there. Should have had a strike
Should have
there.
had it. He's wobbled it.
More so than the other one, huh? Because he hit that one.
That one was hit.
Yeah, so he's got 4 marks in a row now.
That head pin really wobbled.
Ooh. That was hardly even a gutter ball. So 19, that gives him 138 on the 9th. So, and 10, 148.
148, a nice game.
Nice game, yeah. 7 marks. And that's just about an average of 7 per mark. Only had 1 bad box, if you want to call a 7 bad. But a nice game by Terry Spinney, 148.
Excellent game. And it gives him that little cushion that he can.
Yeah, that's like the last week when Brian Dion come out with 171 and Tony with 134. And all of a sudden, before it was over, they were only 1 pin apart.
That's
on
right.
The 2, you know.
And I talked to Brian last week after the match, and I was talking to him about his cushion and everything, and he kind of laughed a little bit and told me, he said, you know, he said I had that cushion, and he said, you kind of relaxed. I just didn't want to relax quite so much.
Yeah. Craig Landry has 5 on his spare, which gives him 96 on 8. He's got a good shot at a spare here. Get in that pocket. It's solid on the head pin, but at least he got all the pins except the one. He's going to have a 9 or a 10 box. So
That's right.
now he can play the pin. If he's not that sure of that left-hand corner pin, the deadwood would take it for him.
A 106 for Craig, so one more frame for him to come. He certainly isn't going to beat Terry, but he can stay real close to him.
Yeah, and another mark here.
Yep.
He doesn't have to beat Terry. He just has to stay ahead
That's
of the other
right.
2.
That's right. And right now they're managing to do that. has a tendency to psych you out when you do that as well.
Nice ball. I like that ball out there. I told you, I think, a couple weeks ago that I like that outside hit on after a punch two. I think you get more action, more pins flying around than you do going back in the other pocket. Although it's a good shot in the pocket too.
It certainly is a sign of confidence on the bowler's part to put it back out there again.
So 116 for Craig Landry. Yeah, because you're that close to putting it back in the hole again.
That's right. So when you see that, you know that that bowler is bowling with confidence. He's
Barry Peterson's got 2 marks in a row. Come out of his little slump there, and okay, picked up 6 more, which gives him 89 on 8. He's got 3 in a row there, and the back pin with a nice flat deadwood, so that helps him. Some of that wood's going to help him. Oh man! Wow.
I almost started to say anywhere on that head pin, and he should have a spare, but I'm glad I didn't, because that just proved me wrong, didn't it? And a 10.
Nice 10. Well, Barry's got 99 on 9. Couldn't ask for a much better hit than he had on that spare shot.
With a mark here, he could put himself right back up there in good shape. And that's just what he did.
There it is.
That's just what he did. That gives him 109 in open. Gives him a good edge.
A good chance to go up on Craig a little bit. Whoop, you're going to get more than that. Now you go after the head pin for the 10.
And a spare.
So that gives him 119.
That puts him ahead of Craig by 3.
And that gives him 3 marks in a row.
Yes, so it does.
In fact, it gave him 4 in a row because that would have classed as a spare on the strike, but he had a double spare strike.
That's
so
right.
Barry is into the bonus money. Ridge Fowler. Ridge needs to have a couple marks now. There's nice ball, and that's the kind of ball Ridge was bowling in his qualifying match. That was just sliding right in there and doing a lot of damage. Red high. Spare for Ridge. It's good. You see these guys, they get behind a little bit, they get down a little bit, they have a bad alley, and they come back.
Yeah.
They come back with a mark.
And it's got to be a real booster for these guys to be able to do that. Lifts that weight off them a little bit.
We've had 18 marks in this game between the four bowlers. And Ridge ends up with an even 100. So after game 1 in this week 4 of bowling, it's Terry Spinney 148, Barry Peterson 119, Craig Landry 116, and Ridge Fowler 100.
And as we get started into the second game, Terry's going in with that cushion that everybody likes to have.
Now there's a nice shot.
Nice
That
8-pin
pin
break.
that's on the right, the deadwood's right in behind it, either frozen or almost frozen. You go right in the pocket of that pin and deadwood, and okay, you got it on the other side of it, but it still went.
But still did the same thing.
Yeah. You were going to make that. I think the ball took that one, if I'm not mistaken. And usually you try to get it in that little pocket and let the pin fly over there. Whew. Oh, he's pounding that ball in there. I like the way that ball's going.
I think he's out for revenge from last year. He wants to get into that next round. And oh boy, look close. And we've given out 2 bonuses on this first game,
Yeah.
Bruce, so
And a 10. So he starts off with a good 29. Now Craig with 116 his first game. At the present time sitting in 3rd place, but only 3 points out of 2nd.
Right now we got a separation of 19 pins for 2nd place, so that race could come down to that for that second playoff spot, or advancing to the 2nd round, I should say.
Yeah.
Not the playoff, because we're not there yet. We're only into the 4th week of this.
Good shot. That shows our bowlers what a 3-and-1 shot, how it could be made, or if things are going real good, you get the 3-and-2. It's very difficult to get that front one that's standing there now on that kind of a shot, but the 3-and-1, 3-and-2, they will go. And Craig has a 9.
Craig wanted real bad to bowl last year and was away on business and was unable to get in and qualify or to roll off. So he's really been looking forward to this year.
Well, there were, as we saw in the qualifying round, there was a lot of guys that didn't get there for whatever reason last year.
Yeah.
And they were right when as soon as the notice went up, their name was on. Now he's got a 2-4-10 shot there. He's, well, either, well, I think I'd stay away from the split because of that deadwood sticking in between the two. But go to the outside of those two, on the right-hand side of the two, and the ball could go over and hit those other 2 pieces of wood on the right and take the 10 pin, I think. But I'd be a little leery of a split.
And that's just what he tried. That's just what he tried. He went to the right-hand side of that wood, pin.
What would have happened there, I think, if he'd have split the 2, the ball would have split all right, but instead of going back to the 2nd pin, it would have hit the dead one on the nose and gone out through and left the 2nd of the 2 there. There's a good chance that could have happened.
Barry seems to be honing in a little bit onto that pocket. And
well, he's had 4 marks in a row. He finished the last game with 4 marks in a row. Spare, spare, strike, spare. 9-pin break here with a little bit of a guide. And used it. Hit that deadwood right on the nose. You go after the pin, but you don't want to miss it to the right. If you miss it to the left, at least you still got a chance of the wood helping you. Three on the spare. And still a possibly good spare. You know, you get right back in the pocket there on this one.
Barry Peterson trying to pick up his 10. Misses. Comes with a 7.
7, and he's got 20 after 2. Now, Rich got to pick his game up a little. He did have 100 the first game, and not to be ashamed of. But I guess in this kind of a tournament, you got to have a little more than that. There it is.
Yeah.
Look at that. Wasn't that easy,
disappeared.
Huh? Wasn't that easy? And that's what I saw Reg do in the qualifying rounds. Just throwing that thing out there nice and easy, and pins were disappearing, as you said.
And the fact that he had 2 whistles blown on him last time sure didn't help a lot. So.
And those were good smooth balls, especially the first one he threw for a strike. That was a beautiful ball.
Tried for that spare and hit too solid on that head pin.
And a 9 for 26. So after 2 in the second game, Derry Spinney 29, Craig Landry 19 and open, Barry Peterson 20, and Reg Fowler 26. right back in there again.
Yes, sir. He certainly is.
And he's got a good shot there. You might get it on the outside, preferably, I think, to the left of the front pin. Just about where he was.
He's setting the pace for everybody to follow right now.
Terry had 7 marks, as you mentioned earlier in the first game. He's got 2 in his first 3 here. Back in the pocket again, a strike. Boy, the man is hot.
Yep, he's really bowling at them right now. He's bowling with a lot of confidence.
Not going to leave anything to chance. He wants first place, and he wants it now. Got a pin and a ball in the gutter down there, so they're just trying to clear it. Then they'll reset it. It'll be ready when he gets over there. So Terry Spinney's bowled 14 boxes, and he's had 10 marks.
That's pretty awesome bowling.
Not bad.
Yeah. I'll take that kind of bowling for my scores any day.
Yeah, Craig Landry has a 9 and a spare with this ball working for him. Got away from him. So he's par after 2 with a 20. Nice ball. Nice ball. He'd like to have had that one over his first one.
Yeah. Gotta go for the 9 here.
Oh yeah, take one. Pick out the one you want.
Yep.
And go get it.
That you're comfortable with.
If anybody tuned in late, this is Candlepin Challenge from Brunswick Lanes. We're into our week 4 of bowling, and we're in the second game of this week's bowling.
We bowled a 2-game series here, total pinfall. Top 2 bowlers advance into the next round. So.
And if you enjoy this week, there's 6 or 7 more weeks coming.
7
Stick
more
with us.
after this, Bruce. And I'm sure that you won't be disappointed watching them.
No, because you're going to see somebody on there that you know. You'll be rooting for him at home. And you're going to see some good bowling.
I always find it makes it a little more exciting when you know somebody. That other channel that used to carry this bowling every once in a while, you'd see Randy Schofield or Tony White on there, and it always made it a little more exciting because you always had somebody to root for.
And then the girls were on a couple times. Corinna was on,
yes.
And some of them. So there's a 9 for Craig Landry. He's 38 on 4. And it brings up Barry Peterson.
A couple times I've had people ask me about the women bowling and stuff, and it's never really been decided, but there's, you know, the possibility is always there someday of, if not a all women's tournament, at least a mixed tournament or something. But it's something to look at for future.
By all means, yeah. Nice spare. That little triangle.
Barry's starting to come on here since the 7th alley of the first game. He's only had 2 alleys since the 7th frame that he hasn't had a mark in, so. Said 6 of his last 8 alleys has had marks.
Got 7 on that one, so he's now 37 on 3. 2 ways to play it. Split the 2 or play on the outside. Split the 2 and got it.
Split the 2 and took it.
And it just, that's the problem sometimes with that wasn't a problem, but when you split them, they go out over the top. And that just hit the top of the 7-pin, and that's all to be able to take it. But that's probably the best shot of the 2. There's Ridge. He's got 26. Heaves 2 and 2. Split the 2 on the right.
Ridge's ball has seems to be hitting a little heavy, little thick right on that head pin. Doesn't seem to be spraying out as much as going straight back.
And a 10 for 36. Okay, the 1-2-10. This is just the opposite that we saw Barry make.
Yes.
Last time on the other side.
Oh,
yes, he's going to get it.
Yes. That deadwood worked and came around for him.
Yeah, that piece of wood slid all the way around, turned all the way around, and just rolled back to the corner. And, it was hard enough to. So we got 3 guys that are open in the 4th here, and one of them is Terry, who's up there now with a strike open. It's one of the few times he's missed a head pin with his first ball, but he's lined himself up a pretty good mark, possible mark there if he gets, I think, up on the red a little bit, up this side of the red a little bit. Yep. And he's got 3 in a row.
And that's another bonus for Terry.
Had a good wood laying there for him. So Terry's 79 on 5 and open with his ball. Bounced it and got 3. So now he's 82 on 5. So he's 32 over par already.
And he's only halfway through.
Yeah, and he had 148 his last game.
He's got a shot at that 270 mark that we've had in previous weeks as well. We've had 3 so far in the first 3 weeks.
Yeah, a couple of 272s and a 271.
And
all
2
right.
of those were last week, so.
Yes, that's true. They were back to back there, weren't
yeah. So Terry has a real good chance of coming up with that again.
they? Yeah, he's got 90 on 6, so he's 78 over par as he sits right now. Craig Landry, 2 under par after 4. Some of the boys are starting to bounce on them. Maybe squeezing them a little bit.
The pressure's starting to mount a little
Well.
now. They're getting down into the last half of this.
If you're behind
Second
a little
game.
bit, you're liable to squeeze the ball a little bit. Try too hard. Oh, he just wanted the head pin, and I think he would have had his spare there. And a 10 for Craig, which gives him 48. He needs to throw himself a big mark here now. Concede Terry. He's got to challenge the other 2 guys, Barry and Ridge. Now.
Yep, that's right now. This is where the competition's going to come. Is for that second spot, I think. In that pocket.
Ball.
Got a nice little. Well, that wood rolling across there might hurt him, but yeah, that's in a bad spot.
He could go down on the flat deadwood, just about on the red, and with his ball turning left to right, the ball could go over and take the 8 pin. I think he might have a shot at that, but I think he's got to get right about on the red. I think that ball could fly.
Or possibly right on the nose of that other pin. Right there, no. Thought it might have.
They're both possibilities, I think. And it's hard to say. That may have been what he was going for,
Yeah.
too. He knows, but anyway, that's past history. Barry Peterson, 47 and open.
And gives him 6 on his spare. Total of 53 after 4.
Probably been better off taking 5 on it and leave the number 2 pin up. Oh, nice shot. Oh, he got some back kick there.
That came from the backstop, I think. That went down into the pit and came back, it looked like.
That's one of the advantages of modern bowling. There is a backdrop down there. It's a, I don't know if it's canvas or rubber or what it is, but it hangs up there and it's right in back of the pit. And wow, that's 3. And it makes pins or a ball come back on the plate very easily. And I think that's, like, as you described, that's what happened there. The pins came back. If that backdrop had been back further or there was none there, that wouldn't have happened. That and the side kicks, which we're going to talk about before we leave this week, make a big difference in a person's score. But he came out with a nice 10. Well, Barry has 76 on 6. That goes along with his 119, so well, he's looking at, he's 35 over par.
Barry just had another 3 marks there.
So
back
he did,
to back,
yeah.
and that gives him another bonus too. So.
Well, that was your job. You're supposed to be looking after that.
So I'm not paying much attention here. I guess I'm slipping a little bit.
Ooh, boy, Ridge. Don't blame you for walking around.
But we caught it before it got by us, so.
And a 10 for Reggie, and that gives him 62 on 5.
Last week we gave away 6 bonus packages, and this week it looks, right now we have 4, so
Yeah.
with the possibility of a couple more.
Wow. Boy, that was a... Well, he's piling up the marks.
He certainly is. It's been
He's had 12, but he only got 2 on that one.
haven't really checked on the other ones, but I think right now he has to have about as many marks as anybody that we've had bowled it this year.
Had a couple balls get away from him here. One of the very few times that it has. And he's going to take a 7, and he has 109 after 8. So he's looking at so far a 2-game total of 257, and there's nobody near that yet. 1635. Now there's still 20-odd pins behind him, so he really doesn't have a concern.
16 pins in the next 2 games will put him the highest double we've had so far this year.
So we'll watch Craig Landry now, see if Craig can get started. Because he was only 3 pins out of the second one, but he's 18 down on Barry this time. But he needs to do some marks. Marking out right now.
Barry certainly has the pressure onto him right now, that's for sure. But Craig, again, capable of coming through. Oh.
Flew out right over the top.
Makes you wonder sometimes how that ball can do what it does.
And an 8 for 66. So with 3 boxes left, Craig's going to want to mark out.
Craig's down 13 pins on Barry, and he has 1 more alley bowled than Barry, so.
Ah. Get the wrong pin.
Yeah.
Well, you go down and split the 2 very fine. You go to possibly the left-hand end of the flat deadwood. Those are my first 2 choices. The last choice would be the other end of the deadwood. Another choice would be, I think, what he was trying there on the outside of the 2.
Yeah.
And let it come off the wall all the
Yeah.
way across. And those are tough shots. So. 175 for Craig. Here's Barry Peterson, who was in second place after the first game, is hanging tough into second place yet.
Actually, I think right now he's still holding down second place in pinfall. So
Yeah, he is.
yeah.
Now he's got a shot there. He can blast that one, go over to the left there, and see what happens to the wood. The ball might take off and go over to the right. It did. Come all the way around it. And 9 for Barry, which is 85. Wow. Just like there was a piece of soft wood in there.
Yeah.
Took the whole front row right out. Took pins 1, 2, and 3 out. Whoop, there goes some more now. But
delayed action.
But the original break was 1, 2, and 3, and left wood laying there. Now he's still got a possibility of a shot there with the wood laying there. He's got a double deadwood. Nice shot.
Excellent spare.
For the original bad break that he had with a reasonably good ball, that's a nice spare.
Discrepancy here.
And an 8 for Ridge.
Reg has had a tough time today.
He's got a good 8-pin break with a good flat deadwood there, so shouldn't have a problem with that one. So we're down to the last 2 boxes now. I guess, well, second place is still in doubt. It's still 20-odd pins, I think, but
there is a
the way things go,
yeah, there is a possibility there for that to change. But right now,
Terry Spinney,
I think he's almost assured of finishing off. And
looks like a pretty good deadwood there.
That's just what he did. Terry's been bowling with a lot of authority here today.
And 17 is 126 on 9. So he's over 280. That one could do some sliding around too.
It's very possible, isn't it? Real nice try by Terry.
And a 9 for 135 and a 2-game total of 283. Well, that's our top score so far in 4 weeks.
Yes, it certainly is.
148 and 135.
The 141.5 average, that's...
I imagine he'd like to bowl a third game now, see if he can bowl 400. Here's Craig. Now, Craig's got to have some marks here. Well, he got a break there.
Got a break.
Except
that
got a bad wood.
That deadwood could rob him, couldn't it?
Well, he's got one rolling up there now.
Might help him a little.
Yeah, and it still might. if he wants to use it, he might be able to hit it right on the right-hand end, and the ball would go in behind this bad wood out front.
Put it right
and
in
take
near
the
where
pin.
they join together.
Just about, yeah, but don't touch that front one. I don't think you want to. Had it a little bit more to the right. That was a tough shot. He didn't have much to shoot at there, and I think he was going the right way. And a 9 for 84. So I think we're almost as short of our 2 bowlers who are going to advance. We know Terry's going to.
Right now,
Barry.
Reg would have to come on real strong to unseat Barry, I think.
Well, he was 19 down on the first one, and he's still down 8 more here. So, and they're both open, so I can't see that happening. Although anything is possible.
Puts him down 27.
And a 9 for Craig. And he had a real tough battle that time with a 93. So Craig's total is 209. Barry Peterson, 95 and open. Whoops. Takes 1 on his spare for a 96. And he's 216 right now, so Barry's ashore of second place. Well, maybe I shouldn't have said that just yet.
I think the 9th alley will determine it with Regis, whatever he gets on that spare, does on that 9th alley. Oh,
good 10. A lot of movement. Well, Barry's 106 on 9. Gives him 225 and an alley to go.
I'd like to take this chance to thank St. Jerome's for supplying the meals for the crew today, and certainly enjoyed it. It was very nice of them to offer to feed the crew here today, and
especially this crew. Huh?
Oh, it's been a great crew. Cable 5 does a fantastic job with their volunteers. Brunswick Lane with their support staff here, Jero and Steve. Our sponsors, Subway and Red Knight Enterprises. Without all of these people, this wouldn't be possible. So we'd like to thank them all for all their support. And if you're ever out around where our sponsors are, Subway or Red Knight, drop in, say hi to them. Let them know that you do watch this and that it's enjoyable.
Rich has a 9 on that spare. Oh, he got that one off the left. He's 16 over par this game and total. And a 9 is 105. That gives him 205. Well, if he hit a triple strike, he'd be in second place.
If he could have made this mark here in this 9th frame, that would have taken some of the pressure off him.
So our second place winner is going to be Barry Peterson.
I think this is one of our few games, Bruce, that we've been able to determine the two.
It's the earliest we've determined
yes,
anybody, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, it's always came down to the last couple alleys, and 111 for Rich. Gives 211 total.
So our winners this week are Terry Spinney with 148 and 135 for a 2-game total of 283, which is high so far in 4 weeks. Second one was Barry Peterson, who had 119 and 113 for 232. Let me see, Reg Fowler with 100 and 111 for 211. And Craig Landry had 116 and a 93 for 209. So Terry Spinney and Barry Peterson are going to advance to the next round.
That's right, and we've have 4 more bonus envelopes to pass out this week, 2 to Terry and 2 to Barry as well. Been fantastic bowling here for the 4th week in a row at the Brunswick Lanes. This tournament is brought to you by Shoppers Drug. Excuse me. I'm getting
a replay from last year.
Replay from last year, yeah. I'm sorry. It's brought to you by Subway and the Red Knight Enterprises. And Bruce, we've been talking over the last few weeks about these sidekicks that have come into play here this year that have increased the scores and stuff. And I guess what we're going to do now is maybe just try to explain a little bit to the people what these sidekicks are down there on the alleys and why they're playing a major role in the scores here this year.
Well, if the camera can reach down there, down to the pits, to each side of the pins, they'll see a gray, well, I'll say a square or oblong on each wall down there by the pins. And I'm not sure what kind of material it is, but it's different than it was last year. And last year's scores didn't improve or go up as high as they thought they might. Manager Gerald tried something new down there, found that they made for better scores. And I think it's proven itself over the half of the year that we've bowled already, plus what we've seen on there. Now we're having a look at it. If you can see just to the right of the right-hand corner pin, you'll see something gray there. It's hard to get a good look at it because of the angle of the camera, and we're 60-odd feet away from it also. But this is what we're talking about when we talk about the kickboards or the sideboards or whatever. They let the pins fly back off of that, and you can also see that there's not a very deep gutter or ditch down there. The pins will fall into that and come flying out again. So between those two things, the scores will go up and have gone up appreciably.
Certainly has. So when you hear us talking about these sidekicks and everything in future weeks as we go through this tournament, you'll understand what we were talking about. And again, on behalf of Subway and Red Knight Enterprises, Cable 5 and Brunswick Lanes, we want to thank you for joining us for championship bowling here at Brunswick Lanes. We look forward to seeing you next week. We have plenty more of bowling coming your way. Bruce, if you'll just take a minute and give us the rundown for next week's players.
In week number 5, we're going to be watching Kendrick D'Entremont, Sean Wells, Willard Ogden, and Roger Sonier, last year's champ.
That's right.
So looks like another good match, Cliff.
It certainly does. So on behalf of all of us here, Bruce Hopkins, myself, and all the volunteers working here today, we want to thank you for joining us. Look forward to seeing you next week. Drop in and enjoy bowling here at Brunswick Lanes. Thank you.